Hello and welcome. We see them literally every single day. They're on our desks, in our parks, and lining our streets. But have you ever stopped to really look at a leaf? Today, we're going to peel back that familiar green surface to uncover a world of incredible design and, well, hidden genius. Let's dive in. Just think about it. Whether it's the absolutely breathtaking scale of a rainforest or just a simple little plant on your windowsill, plants are kind of the backdrop to our entire lives. And what's the first thing you think of? The leaves, right? They are everywhere in a seemingly endless variety. So why isn't there just one, perfect universal leaf shape? It's such a simple question, but the answer opens up this fascinating story of survival, adaptation, and just some brilliant natural engineering. Okay, so before we get into all that amazing variety, let's just quickly nail down the basic layout of a plant. It all starts with a pretty simple two-part system. So first, you've got the root system. That's the anchor, right? It's underground, pulling up water and all those nutrients from the soil. And then everything up top, that's the shoot system. We're talking the stem, the flowers, the fruits, and of course, our stars today, the leaves, all reaching for the sky. Now, let's focus in. Flowers might get all the attention for being pretty, but the leaf is the real engine room of the entire plant. It's the powerhouse. And I'm not exaggerating here. To put it simply, a plant's leaves are its life support system. Without them, there's just no energy, no growth, no survival. Period. And this is their number one job, photosynthesis. At its heart, it's this remarkably elegant process. A leaf is basically a tiny solar-powered food factory. It's incredible. It just takes sunlight, water, and air and turns it all into energy. So how does this little factory work? It's a beautiful three-step dance. First, the leaf breathes in carbon dioxide from the air and pulls up water through the roots. Second, its green chlorophyll acts like a net, capturing energy from sunlight. And third, it uses that energy to cook those ingredients into glucose, which is just a simple sugar that fuels the entire plant. All right, to really get how these little factories are so perfectly designed for what they do, we need to get familiar with the basic parts. So let's zoom in and take a look at the anatomy. Every typical leaf is built from just a few key components. So first, you have the blade. That's the main flat surface. Running through it are the veins, which are like a plumbing and support system all in one. The outer edge is called the margin, and at the very end, you've got the tip. At the other end is the base, and that's connected to the stem by a little stalk called the petiole. Now remember these parts, because how they change from plant to plant is where things get really, really exciting. Okay, now let's see how this basic blueprint gets customized. Every single one of those parts we just talked about can be radically different from one plant to the next. And here's the thing, none of it is random. Every shape, every edge, every texture has a very specific purpose. Just take thickness, for example. A typical leaf is thin and flat, designed to be the perfect solar panel, right? It's maximizing the surface area exposed to the sun. But then you look at a plant like an aloe, living in a dry desert. Its leaves are thick and fleshy. Why? Well, they're not for catching sun, they're for storing precious water. Total game changer. And this diversity extends to the main blade itself. On one hand, you can have a simple single leaf, and on the other, you might see a complex, almost fern-like structure. So what's the difference for? These shapes could be designed to handle wind better, to regulate temperature, or even to stop hungry animals from taking a bite. Let's zoom in even closer, right to the margin, the edge. Look at the difference here. Some leaves have a perfectly smooth, clean edge, while others, like a rose leaf, have this sharp, serrated margin. Again, it's a deliberate design choice, all driven by the plant's environment and what it needs to survive. The level of detail is just incredible. Even the very tip of the leaf tells a story. It can be a long, pointed drip tip that helps shed heavy rain in a jungle, or it can be sharp and abrupt, or gently curved, or even divided. Every little variation is a clue about the challenges that plant has to face every single day. Okay, so we've seen how the leaf itself is a masterpiece of functional design. But there's one more layer of genius we need to explore. And it's not about the leaf itself, but where it's placed. Think about it for a second. If you're a plant, you don't want your own leaves casting shadows on each other, do you? That's just wasted energy. So plants have evolved these ingenious ways to position their leaves to avoid that exact problem.
This whole strategy is known as leaf arrangement. It's the plant's geometric solution to make sure that as many of its solar panels as possible get a clear, unobstructed view of the sun all day long.
And you've definitely seen these patterns before. In the alternate arrangement, leaves pop out one by one, switching sides as they go up. With opposite, they grow in pairs. A whorl, that's when you see 3 or more leaves all coming out from the same spot. And finally, you have the spiral, which is a super efficient pattern that spaces leaves out perfectly as they twist their way up the stem. So here's the big takeaway. The reason for all this incredible diversity is adaptation. From the thickness of the blade to its position on the stem, every single detail is a finely tuned solution. It's like a physical record of all the challenges that plant's ancestors faced and the brilliant ways they evolved to overcome them. So the next time you walk outside, don't just see a bunch of green. Look closer. Really look. Notice the sharp edges, the fleshy textures, those cool spiral patterns, because every single leaf is telling a story of survival. The question is, what stories can you find?